Here are two photos I took 50 years ago after the 1976 Falmouth Road Race. Here are the top male finishers of the race that year. How many of them can you name? Here is a photo of the top female finishers that year. Are there any that you recognize? Let's take a look at running the 1976 Falmouth Road Race. This August, year 2026, over 11,000 people will toe the line at the world-famous Falmouth Road Race. How many of this year's entrants will realize that 50 years earlier, Falmouth became one of the most influential road races in American or world history? In 1975, the two biggest American distance running stars, Frank Shorter, the 1972 Olympic Marathon champion, and Bill Rogers, the 1975 Boston Marathon champion, were brought to Falmouth to race head-to-head in this short 7-mile distance summer road race. At the exact moment, the running boom was exploding in America. The event transformed almost overnight from a local Cape race into a national spectacle, and over 800 runners participated. That was a huge crowd for a 7-mile road race in the mid-1970s. The race also became an early symbol of inclusive road racing through wheelchair pioneer Bob Hall, who competed there in 1975, months after participating in the 1975 Boston Marathon for the first time. Weeks after the 1976 Olympic Marathon in Montreal, both Frank Shorter and Bill Rogers returned to run Falmouth.
That's Bill Rogers alongside him. Bill Rogers, oddly enough, numbered one in this competition, and many of the Americans fancy him to take the title. As Shorter is about to enter the stadium.
Frank Shorter, États-Unis, United States.
Frank had again earned the gold medal, but instead won the silver medal. The Falmouth field exploded to more than 2,000 runners in 1976. The high-quality field deepened dramatically, with many local stars coming to race against Frank and Bill. Two talented teenagers also showed up to race Falmouth. They would later become world beaters, as Alberto Salazar and Joan Benoit, future Falmouth champions, showed up for the first time at Falmouth. The Falmouth Road Race had now elevated itself to a national newsworthy athletic event. It included world-class elite competition, mass participation. The beautiful scenic oceanside course made it a destination event. And don't disregard the festive party event after the race. Everyone wanted to run the Falmouth Road Race. That type of race formula is everywhere today, but in 1975 and 1976, it was still novel. The 1976 Falmouth Road Race, the fourth edition of the race, was another duel between Bill Rogers and Frank Shorter. And 50 years later, that doesn't sound as exciting as it did back in 1976, when you had the two biggest names in running lining up again at the start of the Falmouth Road Race. We've seen that story before. Here are some photos my parents took. I handed them my little camera at about the 6-mile mark. You can see Shorter and Rogers. Now, I was in the race also. It was my second Falmouth Road Race, and I was dressed the same way as I did the first year. The first year, I knew about Ron Hill. He was a 1970 Boston Marathon champion. You can see him here. And the one thing I noticed looking at Ron Hill was that he did everything he could to be fast. So he wore a fishnet jersey, and young ninth grade me, who just started running, was in the men's underwear section at Bradley's, and I saw a fishnet jersey and I bought it, and I wore that in the 1975 road race, the 1976 road race, and many workout and other races in the next few years. A few years ago, the road race was looking for old race numbers so they could have a race number for every year. And I think I gave them like 3 or 4 of my race numbers, and they're on display every year at the Falmouth Road Race. Let's identify those top 1976 finishers at Falmouth. Of course, Frank Shorter was our winner for the second year of the row. He would end up being the winner in 1975 and 1976. as well as the 1972 Olympic gold medalist in the marathon and the 1976 Olympic silver medalist in the marathon. He is still considered one of the greatest American runners in history and a prime mover of the running boom in America in the 1970s. Frank loved Falmouth so much, he is now a resident of Falmouth. Bill Rogers, another inspiration of the running boom in the 1970s, had many accomplishments as a runner, including winning Falmouth 3 times during its international dominance as a major road race. Bill won Falmouth in 1974, 1977, and 1978. He's the winner of the Boston Marathon 4 times, 1975, 1978, 79, and 1980, twice breaking the American record at Boston. And he also won New York City Marathon 4 times, 76, 77, 78, and 1979. The Greater Boston Track Club's Randy Thomas finished in 3rd place in the race. He still holds the course record in 2 other Falmouth races. In 1984, he set the course record at the Falmouth in the Fall version of the Falmouth Road Race. Highly recommend running that one if you've never done it. Same course, cooler weather, less crowds. He also won and set the course record at the 1988 Cape Cod Marathon, which is held in Falmouth. He's been a 5th place finisher in both Boston, New York City, and the Fukuoka World Championship Marathon. The 4th place finisher was George Reed from UNH, and in 5th place was Alberto Salazar, who won the Falmouth Road Race in 1981 and 1982. He's also the 1982 Boston Marathon Duel in the Sun Boston Marathon winner. I was in that race, and 3 times won the New York City Marathon. 6th place saw Amby Burfoot placing, and he's the Boston 1968 Marathon winner and noted running journalist and author. Young Bobby Hodge finished in 7th place. He is a 3rd place Boston Marathon finisher with a 2:10:59 marathon best. And pictured in 8th place is Mike Buckley from Northeastern University. And in the 1976 Falmouth Road Race, I hope you can tell who was the 1st place finisher. Yes, that indeed is Joan Benoit in the first of her 6 total Falmouth Road Race wins. She was a teenager at the time, college student. Of course, she's most well known for being the first Olympic gold medalist in the women's marathon held in 1984 in Los Angeles. Also a 2-time winner of the Boston Marathon and a world record holder in the marathon distance, among many honors. If you're running the 2026 edition of the Falmouth Road Race, I hope you have a great time. It's a great course, a great party, a great race, scenery in a great town, along with massive town and spectator support. See you at Falmouth. Have a great race.